everyone. I got a couple little new tricks to share with the group about how to go live. I have figured out that on the Facebook group, I have to use a mobile device to go live at the same time. So I'm essentially got two devices, my laptop, which is using StreamYard, and an extra cell phone I have so we can go live on the Facebook group. So until such time I figure out that other hack that you need to be able to use StreamYard to go live on this other stuff, we're just stuck with using a cell phone. And I think that's going to work okay. So welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. I am Craig LeBlanc, your host, here every day, well, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Eastern. Love having the opportunity to serve you guys in this way. Really appreciate all the feedback, and I love this competition going on right now. Please don't judge me on my spreadsheet addiction. I have been loving spreadsheets, I think, since I first found Excel so many years ago, and I've been building spreadsheets ever since. So, of course, when I have a competition going on that has to count votes and keep track of names and states and who's winning, I had to build me a spreadsheet. I build spreadsheets probably just to go grocery shopping. Not probably, definitely. I am looking for some suggestions of stuff to put on my bookshelf. People have noticed this little figurine right here, maybe. That's called Fro. She has gone with me from every house. It is a creepy little doll we found at a thrift store. I don't know, a couple decades ago. And I used to keep Fro on my coffee counter where I make my coffee. And I had my young kids convinced that she would wake up and stab you at night if you messed up my coffee counter. I know that's probably a cruel dad joke, but she's gone with me everywhere, and she's always got a knife. She's a violent little doll. So I appreciate y'all recognizing her. I had a friend of mine that watched the show, and he's like, "It's Fro," and he recognized her. And I had completely forgot that I'd put her up there. So I equipped her with her knife today because I was like, shoot, she doesn't have her knife anyway. So I would like to put something up here representing Parks and Rec. You see, a lot of my books are some, spiritual meditation stuff, and then of course, tons of Bitcoin stuff because everyone knows I'm big into Bitcoin after doing my live stuff for the Bitcoin Daily Show. And now here I am building an entire media company, podcast company to help cities start podcasts for their city. I believe that more than ever, people are looking to belong to an online community, and the more local, the better. So if you have a local running club, if you have a local Bitcoin club, which I was a part of many, or if you are just following your Parks and Rec and use your park to go running, to go to yoga, to go to events like fairs and farmers market, which I attend all four of those in my park systems. I would love to see my park systems host a daily show just like this that just keeps people updated and builds an online community that's geared towards your local Parks and Rec department. Just getting the news out, telling people about the services that you offer, and letting people know the needs of the park system. I think it's important for the park systems to be able to communicate to their community what their needs are. We're looking for volunteers. Park systems are always looking for volunteers to staff all kinds of events, but some of these not just volunteer, they're paid positions. So you may have seen young kids working concession stands, right? And at the concession stands, you've got 14, 15-year-old kids that can sell hot dogs and chips and Cokes and stuff like that. And they're always looking for summertime help to staff these big sporting events that they have in your local community. If you have a swimming pool in your Parks and Rec, they're always looking for lifeguards. My first and only job I've ever had was cutting grass one summer for Mr. Raggy Alexander. He was the Park and Rec director over at West Baton Rouge Parish, and he ran the park system. And I would cut these, I think we had maybe 40 or 50 baseball fields on like 8 different parks. And that was my first job, cutting grass, and that was my first experience with Parks and Rec. And so these are summer jobs. The park systems also offer internships, and you should have a community that is in touch and in tune and in sync with what's going on with the park systems, not just on events, but also on the needs. And then it exposes the park uh, leadership leadership in Parks and Rec to the community, and so that people can see, hey, I could consider this a career path. I could work and live at home in my community. I don't have to leave and go to some big city. I can go get a degree in Parks and Recreation and work for the park system and help keep my city beautiful, help keep good events going for the families, so that we can, keep our best and our brightest kids that want to just, maybe they don't want to leave home, but they just have found themselves in a career that requires them to leave their little community. But the Parks and Rec are always looking for good people, both in leadership, both as volunteers, both as part-time youth workers kind of thing, and then internships, so that even when you're in college, you can do internships with your Parks and Rec department. So I think that having a podcast that just regularly notifies people and lets people know about this kind of stuff is where we are heading. And I would love to see the Parks and Rec community jump on this podcasting train of people looking for communities to belong to. I mean, you already belong to the community physically. You live under the jurisdiction and tax boundary and where your home is located in some park system. There's not 1 square inch of America that some park system is not over. If it's I'm so used to calling it parishes, counties. If it's some county, so every square inch of America sits inside of some county or some city or town, and inside that county, city, or town, there is a park system, and there's a director, and there's somebody cutting the grass and maintaining these fields and putting on events. So we all live in some community under the Parks and Rec system. So I would recommend that you get involved and that you find some way to contribute. And of course, thank your park system, any employees you see. And I would love to see our park people more involved in producing content like this and helping people understand and just raise awareness about what's going on. Okay, so that being said, we're having a great competition right now. I attended with Nate, my producer that I met through Bitcoin. We went to the Kentucky Parks and Rec Society just about a month ago, I think now. And we did a full-on podcast. You'll see if you scroll through, if you go to our YouTube channel, which we're trying to grow membership there because it's a very young channel, you'll see some of the talks that we gave. We interviewed Terry, who's the executive director. We interviewed Ashley, who's just one of the great, she was a past president, and she's one of the very active members in the state of Kentucky in Parks and Rec. And several others. Oh, Cameron as well. We interviewed him last week. And it's if you have not been to one of these state conventions and you're in Parks and Rec, you really need to treat yourself to go. Really try. I know sometimes it's budget constrained, but if you can go to one, even if just for a few days or something, I promise you it'll be worth your while. And it's not just for the directors and people in programming. I know they do offer some stuff, and some of the associations offer things for maintenance. I know when I went to the big one in Texas, they had a lot of stuff available for the maintenance people, superintendents and stuff. So anytime you can go to one of those, please do. So I put on a podcast. We interviewed about 15 people. I think 5 of them were directors. Other were just attendees, and 5 or so were vendors, just so you can kind of get a taste and about what goes on in these conventions. They typically pick gorgeous locations, which they did. Terry had a beautiful state park. It was like, it felt like I was on some movie scene the whole time. some family vacation on some like lake house or something. So it was beautiful, and that's very common that they'll host these state conventions at destination type events. So I encourage everyone to attend these if you can. Every state does one once a year. And then some states kind of merge and combine, similar to the northern New England does one. I will find out which states participate in that, but I think it's open to anyone that wants to attend. So they'll kind of pool their resources, pool their groups together, and put on a much larger convention. So any of those you can attend. Any of the big states, I know right now, the state of Illinois is putting one on. It's one of the best attended. It's got the most votes of recommendations that they would like to see the Daily Park and Rec show to. We're trying to pull it off to where we can attend this one in January, even though it's just around the corner. I haven't gotten in touch with the person that would allow us to. So if you're listening to this and know somebody at the Illinois State Convention coming up January 23rd, hold on, let me get this exact date. Yes, it's the 23rd through the 25th, which is in only about a month. Yeah, a little over a month. I would like to attend this, but I can't just show up unannounced. So as much as I've shown up unannounced to many things in life, this is something I think you just want to do it right and get all the right permissions and make sure that we're not stepping on any toes, or we want to contribute and help and add value, not take away from these, because people work so hard to put these on. And this is one of the biggest and the best. So I encourage anyone to attend this one, because I've never been, but I have been to a few of the bigger ones, and they are amazing. They're basically almost like an NRPA conference, which hopefully most of you have been to that one at least once in your life. But maybe if that's too far, or it's on the other side of the country, you might be in the northern part of America, might be able to attend the one in Illinois. So I encourage everyone to do that. But again, we would love to attend that one if we can pull it off, both on my end and get all the permissions we need to. If not, if they win this competition, which it looks like, well, hold on, we got a lot of states that haven't even started voted on this, but if they win it, we will just, the next one, we'll do it in 2026 if I can't get permissions, because like I said, I only have about a month. So with this competition, the polls are open. We're taking votes. If you are part of the Parks and Rec Done Right Facebook group, you can cast your vote, go into the comment section you'll see this spreadsheet, and it's got the rules and the votes and everything. One name gets one vote, unless you are an executive director running your state's association. There's only 50 of these people. So if you are, say, the Michigan executive director that runs the association, puts on these annual events, puts on the regional events, and this is your baby and you're just running it, like Terry Wilkerson of Kentucky. If you vote, your vote counts as 5. And I just did that because I love the EDs that I do know. Executive directors work so hard, and they're kind of the unsung heroes of the whole park system, because it really is, you're working for a nonprofit. They're trying to put a little bit of money together. A lot of times they inherit associations that are just kind of beat up a little, and they nurse them back to health. Terry was telling me about that when she started 8 years ago, it was struggling financially, and now they're on much more sound footing. And they really just do a good job making sure that the community of parks and recs throughout each state is like a little family, and they do annual and regional events. And then they also, you might want to know, so what does your association do for you if you're a park? Well, they put on this annual event, and they bring in speakers so that you can do continuing education. They do outreaches to college kids that are in Parks and Rec, and try to get them sponsorship so that they can attend the state events. And they are typically very active in legislation that's pro Parks and Rec. So if there's any law that might hurt Parks and Rec or help Parks and Rec, or they help write law, the associations are very active at the state legislators, at the state legislation level, to make sure that that everything in Parks and Rec is on the up and up, and that they're getting all the funding that they can get, so that they can keep our park systems looking beautiful. So that's what you would get going to a state association. Now, back to the competition. We're trying to grow the X Twitter account and the YouTube channel. These are very new. Right now, we have 4,755 members of the Facebook group. So we want to grow that one to like 10,000. We pretty much grew that group back in 2020 during the pandemic when we were all locked in our homes trying to socialize and figure out something to do. So Sam, thank you so much for helping me build this. He is a Facebook master, and learned a lot from him. And y'all may remember him. I need to get him on the show one day. I gave a talk on his show. Well, I think it was last week. So now I'm going to ask him to return the favor. We have 31 followers on our Twitter. I think we picked up like 4 or 5 recently, just because I announced this. And our YouTube channel is up to 23, up from 19. So we're slowly growing. We're just an upstart, but hopefully I can nothing to be ashamed of. I'm sure when you start your own account for your city, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to start with 0 followers, 0 subscribers, nobody's listening. And that's good because you're still learning the ropes. You're learning what to do. You're learning how all the tech works. You're making all your mistakes. And don't you want to make your mistakes when a lot of people aren't paying attention, not when everybody's paying attention? So if you can have just a few followers, just, 10, 50, 100 in those first days, it's also a good time to ask your early followers for feedback. And in that spirit, I'll ask the same thing. If there's anything you think I can do better to serve the community, to bring value to Parks and Recreation through these daily lives, whether it's who we interview, whether it's, hey, your mic's a little off. Have you tried using this other mic? When I built the Bitcoin Daily Show or helped found it, the Bitcoin community has a ton of content creators, and they would just shower me with all kind of critiques and suggestions on mics, on cameras, on softwares, for guests. And I just use that to build off the experience and expertise of the community. And so in a similar way, I'm asking everyone or anyone out there listening to this, if there's any person that you'd like to recommend that you think would make great content for the show and be valuable to the community, please help me get in touch with them. If there's anything that you think I can do better from editing or software, throw it at me. Don't assume I know anything. Assume I am. I've always made that a practice of life, to assume there's so much more that I don't know than what I know. And I don't want to cut myself off from the body of knowledge that I don't know because some ego in my head is telling me I know way more than everybody else, because that way I'll stop growing. And I've always been, the men that I've looked up to in life were lifetime learners. So throw it at me. I'm used to getting tons of critiques from everyone in my circles, and I encourage it. Please let me know what I can do better. All right. So back to the competition. If you if you become a follower of the Daily Parks and Rec Show on X, you get like an extra vote. But you got to let me know, because it's hard to track. So just in the comment section, under this competition that you see on Facebook, just say, hey, I followed you on YouTube. Hey, or I subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I followed you on X, and you'll see a number 1 go right onside your name next to the one that you voted. Okay, so that's a way that you can get your state more votes and win the illustrious prize of having us do a podcast at your state convention. Now, there's a 4th way to get votes. So 4 ways to get votes so far. We're obviously using this as a membership drive and to help build the accounts up so that we can get these great messages that I know are coming this year in 2025. And nothing would sadden me more than having some amazing park and rec director, retired, whatever, that gives this unbelievable content that's valuable, and nobody's listening because I didn't do a good job of building up the community in the early days. So I'm really trying to focus on membership here in the early days, while also producing good content and getting ever better at producing that content. So 4 ways. Number 1, just if you're on the Facebook group, Parks and Rec Done Right, just let me know what state you would like to see us attend, and that gets you a point. But if you'd like to get more points for your state, then you can follow us on X. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And number 4, this is where you can really kill it. If you invite someone to join the Facebook group, and in the questionnaire, they are supposed to let me know who invited them, you get a point for that. So I give an example. One of our big, let's see, is it Brett? I think Brett Fonstrom. Brett, I hope I am not butchering your name, but I feel you. I'm a LeBlanc, and most people call me LeBlanc because that's what it looks like, but it's French for the white. So anyway, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name too bad. So Brett is really active, notifying his fellow Parks and Rec people in Illinois to vote. And so if he can get maybe 10 other people that's in Parks and Rec to join the Facebook group, and they say, hey, Brett invited me, then Brett will get 1 vote for his own. If he follows us on X and subscribes to the YouTube channel, that's 2 more. So now he's up to 3. And then if he invites 10 people to the Facebook group and they vote, or they join the group, then Brett will have 13 votes next to his name. And so that's just some, fun way to kind of gamify and make it cool for us to just help grow membership. And I love growing memberships just through competition and watching the numbers grow. And of course, we're doing this so that we can get great content out and give Parks and Rec, excellence in Park and Rec, a platform to just spread their techniques and what they found, so that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Let's see, what else do I have? I did post on Director Central. It's something that Sam created 4 years ago for directors. We kind of fell off the wagon back then and never developed that much. We have about 100 directors in there, and I want to kind of get that going. Stuff that might be applicable mostly just to directors. I am reaching out to all Parks and Rec directors, just as the first group of people I will be reaching out to, just to give me feedback. If you can hop on a phone call with me for 30 minutes and say, hey, Craig, I love what you're doing, or I hate what you're doing it terrible. It'd be a lot better if you did it this way. Or I can't get there at noon, but if you can move it back, just any kind of suggestions, I'll take it all. What time? If you don't like my fro right there, maybe get her out. I don't know, but she might retaliate at night on me. Anything at all, anything I can do better, let me know how I can better serve the community. I really want to start producing good content. And I figure this first couple of weeks, this is week 3, it'll mainly just be me forming the habit and discipline of showing up every day at noon and hitting record, getting all my mic set up, my camera set up, my stage, studio, whatever set up, and then get accustomed to inviting people and sending them links and connecting with speakers, and then just hosting and creating good content. So really this first month is just to do that. Simultaneously, we're trying to grow membership, get that membership train rolling again. And then we figured January, February, we're really getting good at bringing in good speakers, having great content, editing that content, and then distributing that content. Wash, rinse, and repeat, right? Set it up, create the content, edit the content, distribute the content. And once I come up with this roadmap on how I did it, then I'm just going to post the roadmap for everyone to have. Just open source the whole thing. No expense, no cost. And if anything I can do to help point you on the right direction. I did offer the other day on the show, if you're a Park and Rec and you're considering, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's do what Craig says. He's doing it. Let's go for it in our community. First 5 cities to reach out to me and want my help. here I am. I don't have unlimited bandwidth, but I would love to be able to assist y'all and help y'all out. And it's going to cost y'all nothing, zero, zilch, nothing. I'll just do this because I love it. This is my, I've built several other podcasts. Again, one for the Bitcoin community. I want to do this for the Parks and Rec community. And I would love to help launch any city that maybe needs a little extra incentive or push or handholding, whatever. I'll kind of push all out the plane, and then we'll let gravity take over after that. Okay. So any input from directors? And I am also looking to build a group for media professionals. So when I say media professionals, I use that term very loosely. If your park department has said, here, you're in charge of getting all this social media figured out, and that's only one of your jobs, here's 4 others, and go. And I'd love to start a group so we can all kind of cry together. You may just be a college intern that's 20 something years old, new to Parks and Rec, and they said you're in charge of social media. And so let's get a group of us together so that we can all pull together best practices, what works, what doesn't work. I know some cities have entire departments that are in charge of media. They're in charge of a newsletter. They're in charge of social media. They're in charge of any type of videography or photos that go up there. It's not just graphic design, even though that is a component of it. And with AI coming out, there's so much more that one person can do that might have taken many other people, or even a part-time intern, or just one of many hats that a person might wear if you're assigned media, social media, marketing, graphics, flyers, just that whole umbrella, getting the word out for the parks and what they offer and events they have and that kind of services they provide. And then, of course, the needs. Let me know. Let's get a group together. I've got a small group already forming. I think I don't know if I had to guess, about a dozen of us. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. But if you're interested, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up in the DMs on X, and we're going to launch that really real time right now. All right. That being said, I did give a talk a little bit about me and my background. I am a master electrician in another life and ran a company that did that prior to me helping out in Parks and Rec. And I was a lighting engineer, and I ended up, just out of a passion of mine, learned a ton about solar lighting. And so I think I'll probably end up doing just as like a expert or something, to be able to say, hey, if you're thinking about solar lighting, these are the things that you want to think about. And I've given this talk a couple times. I haven't given it in a while, and the solar industry has really boomed, and it's come such a long way, mainly because the batteries and the type of monocrystalline solar panels and LED lighting all in one package has come together. So I'll give a little talk on that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow as something different to talk about than the competition and scaling up. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing all that mess, and then I'm thinking I want to go through and I can speak on a couple of topics, like I said, I was an electrician. I love solar. I was big into Bitcoin, and I've got a lot of connections within Bitcoin community. And there's actually several cities that are starting to use Bitcoin to hold as a treasury reserve asset. So that's coming up. I can speak on that. But then I want to bring some vendors in that I've met over the years that could maybe speak on playground equipment, or, lawn maintenance, or field maintenance, or programming, or swimming pools, or that would be a good one. Have some swimming pool expert come in. I know a lot of people beat their head on swimming pools. I see Katrina Ward watching. That's my fellow West Bank girl from Breck Park. She's going to be running Breck Park one day. I know it. If not, maybe in the future. So good seeing you here. But yeah, there's a lot of experts from, I could get somebody in forestry to speak a lot about trees and the types of trees and that kind of stuff. Always thought that was cool. I had a couple of cousins that ran big tree companies here in South Louisiana. So there's endless good topics that Parks and Recs people need to know. We could talk about graveyards till the end of the time, farmers markets, same thing. And that's the kind of content we'll be producing throughout the year, really just trying to do that. I'll pitch in where I can on things I'm maybe considered have a little more knowledge about. But other than that, I'll be looking towards the community to find some of those experts to speak. So let's see. I think that's it for the day. Please get out the vote and vote for the state that you want to see. Katrina, I see you listening. Not one vote from Louisiana, my home state, mainly because I haven't told anybody about the competition. But maybe you can vote that you would like to see the Daily Parks and Rec show come to the Louisiana convention. They just had theirs a couple of weeks ago. And I saw her there. So anybody from Louisiana, let's let us at least make it in the top 10. I think right now you only need to get 2 people to vote to be in the top 10, which is where Pennsylvania, Alaska, and Wisconsin are. I'll go ahead and read out the stats. Okay, so the stats are state of Illinois is in first place with 63 votes. They had a little 65, I think, yesterday, but I had 2 names in there twice. So I put them all in alphabetical order so everybody can easily see their name. State of Michigan has 34 votes. Northern New England has 18 votes. Georgia has 5. Texas have 5. Florida and Maine are tied for 6 with 3. And Pennsylvania, Alaska, and Wisconsin have 2 each. So get your vote in. Literally just go in the comment section and say you need to come to Louisiana. You need to come to Hawaii. I would love to see Hawaii win. I will find a way to just deal with having to go to Hawaii and doing a state convention. Alaska as well. I'd love to go to both of those states. Alabama, my Alabama people, where are y'all at? I know tons of people. Shonda, come on. Let's get Alabama going here. Arkansas, same thing. Colorado, same thing. I've been to, gosh, so many of these. Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi. Of course, I know I'm a Southern boy, so. But yeah, I've actually know tons of people in all of these states just from when I first launched this Facebook group. So let's get the vote out. Let's get people excited about building some social media, some media content, and then help me launch at least a dozen cities. Maybe we can do 100 cities next year that have podcasts because of what we did so that they can get the word out. Katrina, if you're willing to help me start a podcast for Breck in my own backyard, I will help y'all do it. Just help me get in touch with who is in charge of social media or media in general at Breck. I know they've got probably a whole department that does that, or at least a few people along with, because they're a pretty big department. But anyway, all right, guys, I will see y'all again tomorrow. Sorry for being a few minutes late today. I was trying to get my cell phone to be able to go live here on Facebook because they won't go through StreamYard. But I'm going to do my best. This was the week where I did 5. Okay. Last week, I think I missed 1 day or 2 days, but I was late almost every day this week. Next week, I'm going to do my best to hit that 12 noon Eastern mark and just, get that cadence and that rhythm so that you can get used to just maybe putting me on your schedule and we can listen. Of course, you can always listen after the live performance, or I say performance recording. But what I want to do is start working on a comment section. At some point, you have a comment section where people can ask questions live. And so that would be great if I get some really good, hard to get speaker to come speak for our community. And then I can say, let's go to the comment section and see if we have any questions and we have an active, vibrant community. But it's going to take me some time to, number one, show up myself at noon, 5 days a week, and then get in people's regular schedule, and everybody has busy lives because it's 12 Eastern. Of course, it's 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 o'clock over in California on the West Coast Pacific. So it's, I think the key is just consistency. So we're going to get this consistent. We're going to get some good speakers, and I'd love to get an audience that's able to ask questions during our live. So I will see y'all again here tomorrow at 12 noon. This is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, your host of the Bitcoin Daily Show, live Monday through Friday, 12 noon Eastern. We'll see y'all again here tomorrow. Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day. And hold on, I got to shut down StreamYard too. Okay. Have a great day.